Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Monomyth Diaries, a podcast where ordinary people get to share their hero's journey. I'm Mandi, and I'll be your host. We'll discover powerful insights, critical moments of growth, and much more. Thanks for joining us. We all have a monomyth to share, and someone out there needs to hear it. Welcome to the Monomyth Diaries, where it's a take what you like and leave the rest podcast. This is a space where we explore transformation through the stories that change us. Today's episode is a very special one and a little emotional for me because our dear friend Karen and co-host is saying farewell as she steps into a new chapter of her life. Karen, thanks again for joining us today for one last episode.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's such an honor and privilege to be here. And hey, everyone, I just want to reiterate, this isn't goodbye forever, but really just a see you later. It's been a tremendous honor to sit behind this mic and listen to our heroes share about their most honest and powerful stories. Monomyth Diaries has been a space for growth, for reflection and connection. And it's not just been for our guests and our listeners, but definitely for me personally. I'm just so really grateful, Mandi, when you invited me to come aboard this team, when we sat in that, was it my car? My car. It was. We were having that conversation about what you wanted to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mandi, I really think this has a lot of potential. It can have a lot of impact on people. And I still stand by, like when we talked about sharing wisdom with one another. And I really just am so pleased how that one little conversation has turned into this. And I think about all the listeners that have come through, how many guests have come through, how many people have shared their stories, how many people have engaged through social media and reached out to you. And to the point where today you have people that you've never met randomly emailing you, wanting to share their stories, wanting to be heard, and people emailing in response to the stories they've heard. I just think it's such a wonderful, wonderful momentum you've got going on here. And I really am so excited to see where it's all going to go.
Well, I appreciate that. From the very beginning, obviously you have helped to build the Monomyth Diaries into what it is today. It's a space where not only our guests, but our listeners feel heard and listened to and truly feel inspired. You have embraced every single episode with compassion and curiosity and an amazing gift to ask questions that truly help us open up our hearts. And that has been a tremendous gift to the show and to our listeners. So I truly appreciate that you have brought that to the show. And yeah, totally sad, but happy at the same time.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be where we are today without your tremendous amount of help and your gifts. So thank you.
Well, like I said, I feel like this was sparked by you putting out there what you wanted to see, the change you wanted to see. I just feel like I just hitched my wagon along and said, okay, let's go.
No, I would not have had the strength to do this without you. So
really? Oh,
well, we're going to take a few minutes and ask you, we're going to put you in the hot seat. We're going to ask you some questions.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Let's go.
First question, looking back, what has being on the Monomyth Diaries meant to you?
I feel like it's been a lot of great opportunities for self-reflection and a lot of opportunities for representation. Almost every guest that's been here, I've been like, oh my gosh, I see myself. I get you. I totally understand where you're coming. Even though like whichever hero is being featured here, they come from a completely different background from me, born in a different place, different skin color, you name it. The depth of what they share, I really feel like I can relate. I can connect to this. I understand. It also has challenged me to look at things differently, to go, oh, that's a perspective I never would have considered. I never would have thought of that. And so for me, it's been really enriching and giving me pause to look at myself. And I think the biggest one was when we did that episode about not shoulding. And like literally just the other day, I started to say something to someone and went, oh, like should was on the tip of my tongue and I had to shut it down. And I even apologized to the person. I was like, I was just about to say you should. And it's something I'm really working on, is to not direct people or command people, because that's not respectful, and to really hold on to that commitment of us not shoulding on ourselves and not shoulding on others. So I really see how a year ago, 2 years ago, I would imagine even thinking like that. And now I'm seeing like it's just catching up with me and becoming part of my path going forward.
Is there a particular guest or story that really has stuck with you?
There's many. Like I think I could share one thing from every single guest that's been on that I've had like seriously, when I say honor, it's really truly an honor to be able to interview, to get to know, to sit with. But I think Stephanie's was probably the one that really sits with me daily. The fact that she openly shared so personally in this room, in this studio, on her podcast, this big family secret, I felt so honored, like just felt so, my gosh, she must feel really safe. She must feel really trusted. And she felt ready to come forward and to drop the masks and go, this is me. This is what's been going on. And then to see all the boons, all the boons that have come from that moment of her just opening up and not hiding anymore.
What has this podcast taught you?
This podcast has so much of who you are personally woven into this. So when I say this podcast, I also mean you personally, Mandi, that I've learned so much from you. This podcast has taught me so much about service. It's taught me so much about giving back. I love how every episode, that's one of our questions we ask. How does your monomyth give back to the community? How do you want to give back? And the other thing I also, I always joke about it in every episode, how your favorite part, the boons, but I really feel like, no, it's actually a mindset. It's a mindset to focus on the boons that you get to have and experience in your life, and it's literally a reminder of having the attitude of gratitude. Sometimes we can get into the grind of things and be like, and complaining,
Right.
and then to pause and go, okay, let's think about the boons I'm having from this journey. What muscles have I built? What new skills have I learned? What was the baggage I've had to drop in order to get here, and what do I get to look forward to? Definitely this whole, monomyth structure in teaching me to look at my life and look at the lives of others with that way of going like, hey, there's rewards to be reaped as you climb, as you fight, as you battle. It's a really refreshing reminder is what I would say is my biggest takeaway from the Monomyth Diaries.
You're so sweet. I'm gonna cry. All right, last question. As you step into your new chapter, what are you looking most forward to, and how do you see this experience carrying with you?
Well, so this new chapter, I've had the opportunity to kind of touch back with my film background, and it's really what was interesting is, my time with being with Monomyth Diaries is how I look at story and how I look at people, you kind of have to deal with. And there are moments where I'm going like, okay, that's my sandpaper person. This is a sandpaper person, and it's fine. And also remembering like, no one gets to where they are without that refining process. And I really think what I've been taking here again is that attitude of just like, okay, there's going to be boons from this. Let's go fearlessly. I'm feeling scared, but I'm going to transform along the way. And, it is scary. Every time you start something new, it's a little like, oh, why am I doing this? I want to stay safe where I'm comfortable. Also, sometimes it's like, no, sometimes the call happens and you just got to make it happen. You just got to go. What's the next thing?
And take massive action.
Yes.
Like we did in this podcast.
Yes.
Well, I'm so glad to hear you're doing that. Good for you.
Yeah. One thing I love about the Monomyth Diaries, it's when we first got together and we were like, okay, what's this
Did
podcast?
our vision boards and
yes, and all that. And then I think about how we wanted this to feel like you're kind of like at a dinner party, you're with family. And one of the things I feel that the podcast has really created and is continuing to create is that sense of family. It's a sense of an idea of belonging to a space that's beyond physical boundaries, that it's outside of this room, it's outside of the studio, it's even outside the circle of people we know, because I know there's listeners out there that I've never met before. I don't know their names, but there's this connection, and we're part of this greater world. We're part of this greater universe, and to feel like you're all part of this fabric, it's something very healing. It's something very, I don't want to say positive. I feel like positive, it feels a bit too trite, but there's something healing and wonderful and miraculous about that. And to know that there's someone out there that can relate, or I can relate to, or when someone shares, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm not alone. Or like we say, being transformed, or someone who would share something and even though I'll be like, oh my goodness, I've never done anything like that, but I can understand why. And at the end of the day, it's an incredible reminder how at the heart of it all, we're all human. And we're all these spiritual beings, and we all need each other. And I feel like in our world today, we're starting to see so many castles go up, and we're isolating ourselves. And one thing I love about this podcast, it actually shows like, no, we need to reach out. We connect to one another. Your stories about Al-Anon and how that motivated you to take what you learned from there and share on this platform, and how my experience from church, and how always I'm reminded community, whether it has a name like Al-Anon or a name like church or whatever, or it's in the form of our listeners, or it's just this conversation that happens in this room. It's just so beautiful to see how we can connect. And I can't not leave the podcast and not talk about Darnell, because I'm so grateful you brought him into my life, and how he talks about his message at his church about your story matters. Lately, there's been some scary news stories about people who feel so desperate that they see the only way to deal with their pain is to take their lives. And I just wish that for every person who's in that dark space, to be reminded that no, they matter. No, whatever they're going through, there's someone there that can relate, can connect to, and can walk with. And I feel we need that more and more. And that's why I'm so grateful that, you started Monomyth Diaries, and how each of those people, even though in those moments it's so dark or it feels so lonely or so helpless, to know like, hey, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is something on the other side. And there is someone out there who needs to hear that person's journey, how they got out, so they can learn how to get out. And it's just so inspiring when I think about how many different people who've been here, who've been in that dark spot, but got out. And I hope it inspires people. And like I said, how each person gets out, it's all going to look different. It's all going to feel different. And that's okay. They're all just as equally valuable. And I'm here to hear it because I need it. Lord knows I need it.
Yeah.
There are moments where I'm like, I'm doing, and then I'll, click onto, wisdom either you shared or someone has shared, or, it's just kind of feel how life is designed to be.
Yeah, learning valuable lessons from one another.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Karen, you know that the door is always open.
Mm-hmm.
It's always open. When your chapter slows down, you're always welcome to come back.
Yeah.
We would always love to have you. You've left such a lasting mark on me, on our listeners, on the podcast in general. And I'm super grateful for everything that you have poured into this space. We wouldn't be here had we not done it together. I know you keep saying me, but we did this together, and I truly appreciate it. To our listeners, the Monomyth Diaries will keep moving forward, continuing to honor the mission that you helped us to create. So thank you.
You're most welcome. And like I said, I'm just been privileged to be along for the ride. I feel like it's more of a passing of the torch.
Yeah.
And I definitely will come back. And know that I am always cheering you guys onwards, because the mission of what we've all set out to do, it's just too important.
Well, thank you.
So until next time, heroes, let's journey together through our monomyths.
Thanks for joining us on the Monomyth Diaries. If this episode resonates with you or someone you know, we'd love for you to share it and spread the inspiration. Don't forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube to stay connected. We'd appreciate if you could take a moment and rate and review the podcast. It helps us reach more people with stories of transformation and growth. You can visit us at monomythdiaries.com or text us directly from the show notes to reach out and keep the conversations going. Until next time, heroes, let's journey together through our monomyths.